Hello, welcome to July 1st, 2023. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video. This is an exercise that I do each and every morning shortly after waking up. It's now 4:58 a.m. I do this in order to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and opportunities that I met, and a plan for the coming day, to forecast what challenges and opportunities I might meet and to ready myself. Before I begin, though, let's read a poem. Today, continuing with John Keats, we're going to read a group called Stanzas, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five brief ones. They're really one poem, but they're brief little paragraph bits. Speaking of love. 1. You say you love, but with a voice chaster than a nun's, who singeth the soft vespers to herself, while the chime bell ringeth. O love me truly. I had to look up the word vesper, which means the evening, or Venus, the planet Venus, the evening star, also the morning star, and also prayers, typically Catholic prayers sung at evening. So it makes sense with this reference here. 2. You say you love, but with a smile, cold as sunrise in September. Beautiful. As you were St. Cupid's nun, and kept his weeks of ember. O love me truly. 3. You say you love, but then your lips, coral tinted, teach no blisses, more than coral in the sea. They never pout for kisses. O love me truly. 4. You say you love, but then your hand no soft squeeze for squeeze with returneth. It is like a statue's, dead, while mine for passion burneth. O love me truly. 5. In the conclusion. O breathe a word or two of fire. Smile as if those words should burn me. Squeeze as lovers should. O kiss, and in thy heart inure me. O love me truly. Wow, lovely bit of the poet, maybe an unrequited love of sorts, wishing for more and better. Like it. All right. First, last night and yesterday, had the day off, took care of a lot of stuff, did all my normal stuff, usually, the usual things I do. But I took care of two main things. My two big goals for the day on my Friday off were, one was to take care of my daughter's car. She had moved out of her dormitory and just had helter-skelter, just threw everything from her place into her car, which is just an awful mess. You could hardly drive it. So I unpacked the whole car, laid everything out on the grass, and air out everything. And then I packed everything up in boxes, made it real nice and tidy and complete, and threw out all the stuff that was clearly trash. And then I took her car to the auto shop and had it checked out, had an oil change done, had it washed, and I did a thorough cleaning while it was empty. Everything cleaned out the inside of the car. It's looking nice. Gee, she's probably going to be like, Dad, what'd you do? Because I took everything apart. She had all kinds of stuff everywhere. I had never put that back together. That's okay. She gets a clean start. While that was being done, I then took this boy, you can't see him, Ollie, to the vet. And a new vet. I traded vets. I think my old vet, it's time for him to retire. Those days have passed. And I started with a new vet that I found had great reviews on Google and Yelp, and they were a great place. A little more expensive, but that's because they do urgent care service. They're open late. So I like having the fact that I've got a vet now that's new, younger, I even took well reviewed, and more ample hours in case you need them. Pleased with that. So I took care of all that and had a wonderful evening with my wife, and just spent some time reading in the evening. Oh, and I went for just the most delicious swim during the middle of the day. The weather was so nice. I just went out and floated. I must have stayed out there for an hour, just out in the ocean, floating about, just out past the breakers. Just, it's like I feel you almost feel guilty having that nice of a time. Like you shouldn't have that much nice of a time. Then I came home and I had a delicious time sitting in my chair in the evening, reading, lost in my book. I'm getting near the end of 2 years before the mast. They're coming back after their year and a half in California. They just rounded Cape Horn, making their way north towards Boston. The girls of Boston are pulling on the tow cable, as they say. They've rounded Cape Horn to that desolate island off the edge of the tip of Terra del Fuego, whatever it's called. There's an even more desolate island beyond that, and they've made it around, and the southeast wind is just blowing perfect. And so they've decided, instead of going around the Falkland Islands, they're just going to lay in sail and straight up, angle it towards Boston, angle it straight up. They've got all the sail in there. This just wonderful passage, and it's not fiction. It's describing something real experience of having the ship with all of its sail up, and just the sight of the thing as it's roaring through the seas. And Dana describes it so well. And I just sat in the evening, just sat out there in the yard with my little dog in the evening, soft evening light and soft breeze, after being in the sea, and just read and just losing myself in the book. And then to top it off, Yumiko called me in for a fantastic dinner that she made. We just sat and we watched Takatsu Tile, one of our YouTube channels that we watched together, until it was time to go to bed. And I went to bed and I took my dog to bed. The white dog sleeps with me. He has a little cage right where I sleep, and then the black dog, this one, stays with Yumiko. It was an amazing day. There was a tint, though, of something, because there's always another side, right? Somehow a video showed up in my feed. It was a so long video. It was a man saying goodbye to life. He was going to be dead within 24 hours. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting. He was sitting in his chair, or maybe it was his hospital bed, making his, holding the camera was placed, making his final video. It turned out that he had started the channel and he only had like a dozen videos up there, to record his last stages in stage 4 cancer. This was the one. He knew he would be dead within 24 hours, yet he seemed alert, etc. He had contracted pneumonia in one of his lungs, and so his voice was raspy, rattly. And he said his farewell, and he had showed us the urn that his ashes would be put into. He said this is an Australian man in Perth. Somehow there's some sort of rapid cremation, so almost immediately after his death he'll be cremated. So he said, I'll be in this box soon. And he had made the box somehow. And yeah, I was struck by it. And I was struck by a couple of things. The fact of the video, the fact that he'd made this channel just to record his downward plunge. One thing stood out to me. He said, this wasn't as hard as it seemed. It was dying, basically, he said. I was really scared when I found out that I had this and that I was going to go quickly. And he knew it was the pneumonia that was going to get him now, in addition to the cancer. But he was like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I've heard that before from others. It's not as bad as I thought. And I remember when I worked in the convalescent home, people dying. Not as bad as it thought. Interesting, that. Because, I don't know, I feel unqualified to speak, as who among us is qualified to speak on this subject, but of dying, unless you're in that situation. But it's a terrifying and interesting thing. I say terrifying by way of obligation. I'm sure it would terrify me if I find myself in that situation. I'm more curious at this stage, right? How well would I go? My first objective is to be always ready to die. And I think I am ready to die. Would I really hold up, though? Anyway, so that was that. And then he ended the video with, the way, he said his goodbye. Well, this is it. This is the end. Okay, take care. I love you all. Click. I thought, wow, it's gonna. And then the video continued for like 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and he was back. Because he forgot to tell us something about the urn that he'd made, right? Oh, I forgot to tell you. And he showed us this thing. He had like a little thing on the side that he had put. There's this thing. See, okay, that's it. Catch you later, or something. That was it. What? Catch you later? No, there will be no catch you later. That was interesting. But so now I'm in for it, because since I watched that video all the way to the end, and I rewinded back a couple of times to hear what he said, because he said, how many times are you going to see such a poignant message as that? Now YouTube thinks that I really like that kind of video, which I actually am interested in, and now I'm seeing a whole string of them in my feed, mostly stage 4 cancer journeys, just horrifying things. And I only watched 2 of them, 2 videos, additional videos. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I tend to not watch very much of anything, but just horrifying stuff. And now I'm in for it. And it would be interesting to watch these through their completion from the point that they're diagnosed all the way to the end. I'm very curious about how people weather and then are succumb to, inure themselves, to use a word I just recently learned, and make themselves, as that one man said, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Inure themselves or not, and then finally come to the end. It's going to be a journey for me to try to learn more. So it was an interesting day yesterday. Good day. Tough day. Let's do the good life. My 7 objectives are, as I said, to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, and number 7, to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Oh, and I forgot to note that it seems like the shot that we got him for his allergies seems to be working. My little boy here is not scratching. He's resting very peacefully. Another good side effect of yesterday. It was an expensive visit to the vet, but well worth it. My 34 principles are, and these are all in my book Going Alone, in the chapter titled The Good Life: War, reason, homunculus, anchor hold, home of good and evil. Oh, I forgot to add, I added a new sub-principle to the book yesterday. It's the principle of purpose, the next one. Atomic principle, then principle of purpose, number 7. I added duty. I think I talked about it in yesterday's video. Duty, the 30-year responsibility, plus, and including 25 years for every child that we have. It's in the book now. Purpose, atomic, and principle of nature, the pirate right, maturity, the social principle, principle of family, public speaking, distraction, agency, and the great indifference, the best seat in the house, temperance. Ooh, I got ahead of myself, didn't I? Best seat in the house belongs after that. Temperance, I'll do it again. Temperance, temperance, life will not go well. The horror show, that which must be borne. The feast of woeful, the best seat in the house. The restless man, the path of wildness, the great life adventure, the risk of avoiding risk, sin and damnation, complete oblivion, the season of philosophy, script writing, the bullseye aim, the uphill climb, arena and utility, nothing is enough, and the principle of fun. Good enough. I got to go to the beach to do my book reading this morning, so I'm giving myself some time. I'm giving myself some time every day, haven't I? All right, for today, I'm going to do the usual Saturday stuff, finish all my morning stuff, read the Bible, edit a page of my book, upload all this stuff, take care of the boys, then go to the beach and do my book reading. And then after that, I'll come home, I'll clean the house, Yumiko and I will do our shopping, and hopefully I'll have some nice time in the evening again with my book, a nice time in the evening with my wife, a nice day doing the best I can to make the best of the time that remains. With that, I'll stop and wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. And with that, my life is done, if not finished. See ya.